Welcome to the Complete Fitness Podcast with Core for Complete Fitness. Your episode is starting in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, people. Happy end of March. Hope you guys had a great month so far. And let's get this show on the road, shall we? Before we get going, like always, guys, if you could be so kind as to subscribe to our podcast. My voice is doing something weird. Hopefully I'll make it through this. Subscribe to our podcast. Share it with your friends. Share it on social media. Text it. Whatever your preferred method of communication is. It'll help us keep growing this thing so that way we can keep cranking up these episodes for you guys and ultimately help everybody who needs it, which is the whole reason why we do this in the first place. Now, today, we got a touchy subject. Diets. Let me adjust my chair. Sorry about all the squeaking and the noise out of the gate. Diets. I kind of wanted to touch base on something, guys. We're going into the season where there's 2 parts of the year where we see people are generally, or I should say 3, generally ready for change. 1 is just like always in January. 2 is right before it goes into spring and summer. When it gets to like 60-ish degrees outside, everybody's going from hoodies and sweatpants and jackets into tank tops and t-shirts. People kind of freak out. And then the other one is in September when the kids start getting ready to go back to school. People, or I should say all the parents kind of get back into a normal routine and they don't have the kids at home all the time. So they can get back into kind of their normal everyday schedule that they had before the kids got let out. So we're going into one of those 3 in the next, probably within a month here, which kind of excites me to say. Everybody wants to go. I got to get in shape. Crap. I got to start eating healthy. I got to do X, Y, and Z. And I want you guys to avoid the same song and dance, right? We start a diet and we're good for whatever, weeks or a month, let's say. And then inevitably the wheels fall off because you chose something that you can't stick with long term. In terms of, and I just made a couple videos on this, in terms of your diet, you need to think of this in 2 ways. When you're on a diet, there's 2 things that can happen. You're either going to win or you're going to lose. You're either on your diet or you're off your diet. There's not a lot of gray area. There's not a lot of wiggle room, not a lot of in between. So it's very, very, you're doing this or you're doing this. You're either doing the things that you should be doing or you're doing the things that you're not doing. You're either moving the needle forward or you're going backwards. And it's very, very black and white. But a lot of us live in the gray area that's in the middle, right? So how do you pick something that's going to get you results by also living in that gray area? You got to pick something that you can stick with long term, right? See, diets normally are reactive, which means we get to a point where we're like, oh my God, my shirt doesn't fit, or I can't button my pants, or the shirt fit last year, or I can't do this. So I need to, because I got to this point, undo it by doing all this crazy stuff. And a lot of the choices that we make are just in the moment. We're not thinking long term. We're thinking, what do I got to do right now to get all this weight off as quickly as humanly possible? And you're not thinking how it's going to affect you 3, 6, 9 months down the line. You're just going, whatever, hit the fast forward button. I want to get back to normal. I want to get back to normal. And you might lose 10 pounds, let's say. But when that happens, generally people gain the weight back plus another 2, 3, 4, 5 pounds on top of it. And you'll see these people. They're always yo-yoing. They're up, they're down. They're up, they're down. And they're never, just like what we want your diet to be, they're never just kind of in that gray area inside that happy medium. And that's the point of actually becoming healthy, right? It's not just pedal to the metal and then you revert back to be completely laying off the gas and then pedal to the metal, laying off the gas, just like driving a car. Your car wouldn't operate very well if you did that for years on end, right? Laying on the accelerator and then just letting it coast until it stops and then laying on it again. So instead of being reactive with your diet, you need to be proactive. You need to make it a point where you go, I'm doing X, Y, and Z and eating these foods so I don't have to become reactive, or so I don't have to reinvent the wheel and go, okay, no sugar. I'm never going to look at bread. I'm not going to have any of this, and I'm going to stick with this so I can get back. That's very reactive. It's very 100 miles an hour. You want to be proactive, so you go, I don't have to get to this place where I'm redoing my lifestyle and stressing out and cleaning out my fridge and cleaning out my cupboards and have to go grocery shopping and get all new stuff because I let this happen again. It's way, way easier and way less stressful to be proactive and get ahead of the problem than it is to go the other way and go, damn it, I dug myself into this hole. How the hell am I going to get myself out of this mess? Now, how do you do that? You do that by one, being real with yourself. The diet that worked for your neighbor, the diet that worked for your friend, the diet that worked for your cousin, or the person that you go to work with doesn't mean it's going to work for you. I have fitness friends that live in California that do keto, but out in California, everything is keto. They got avocados on everything. It's really not that difficult to have a keto-based lifestyle because that's just kind of the way it is in California. Out here in the Midwest, a lot more challenging, right? I don't know a lot of places, especially where we live in Little Milford, where I can walk in and go, can I get the blah, 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 blah keto version of this? And they go, we really don't have that. So not to say I want to do a keto diet, but just giving you guys an example. You have to look at the big picture and go, what's going to work for me? So for instance, I know on the weekends, it's pretty much cemented in stone where we have a night where either our family, we either go to dinner or we order a pizza or we'll go out to breakfast or get breakfast called in. It's kind of just the one thing we do every weekend as a family. So if I were to do, let's say I keep using keto as an example just because it's easy. If I were to do that diet, I probably wouldn't make it past day 6, realistically. Because I know we're going to have the family night. I'm going to do this. I don't want to sit on my hands. I have a family that's Italian, so it's pasta, and I know that way of life simply would not work for me. So I'm not going to try to do the square peg round hole analogy where I'm trying to force it to work, right? It's just not going to gel. Now, what could work for me is if I said, okay, I'm going to do intermittent fasting from, let's say, 11 to 7 or 11:30 to 7:30. During the day, I'm going to make some consciously good choices. If I want to have, let's say, an Oreo, I got to do so by 7:30 because then I'm going to fast the rest of the time. Why does that work for me? Because in the morning, I'm at work from, let's say, 5 until, today's a little bit longer, but let's say 5 till 10 or 11. Works out perfect. I can go home. I can do X, Y, and Z, make myself breakfast or lunch, go back to work for the afternoon if I need to, and then kind of tidy things up. Now, for a lot of you guys, that might not work. For a lot of you guys, if you have a typical 9 to 5, you're like, I got to get breakfast in the morning. So again, you have to look at the big picture and go, what sort of lifestyle is going to work for me? Not what did Susie Q do or what did Joe Smith do? You can take some ideas and, use it kind of as a tool to look into. But what works for one does not work for everybody. There's a couple people here at the gym. They did some, oh my God, some powder supplement thing that worked for this one person, and she lost all this weight. And then somebody else tried it and it made her blood pressure go through the roof. Again, same diet, different people, completely different results, right? What worked for this person is not going to work for this person. So you have to take into consideration, it is not a be-all, end-all approach as far as what you're going to be eating. Now, to piggyback on that, people's first reaction when they want to lose weight, one is usually to go to the gym. 2 is to reinvent the wheel with their food choices and their habits. I talked about this last week. Everybody wants to know, okay, what's the best diet should I do? What should I be eating? Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I eat this? Should I eat that? And I go, well, before you do any of that, are you drinking enough water? How much water are you getting in a day? They're like, well, I get 2 bottles of water. I have one at work and then I have one on the way home. Sometimes I'll have one at dinner. So maybe 2 or 3 bottles of water. And I'm like, okay, you got to get way more water. That's just a habit that you got to get down. You got to drink your water. Okay. They're like, okay, well, I'll do that. Now what diet should I do? And I go, well, are you getting enough sleep? Well, sometimes I get 4 hours, sometimes I get five, sometimes I get, 3.5. Sometimes I wake up in the nights. I don't always get six. I don't always get seven. I hardly ever get eight. And I go, okay, well, let's first, dive in with your sleep. Let's get that corrected too. Okay. So we got two things down. And then I go, what are you doing on the weekends? Are you going out drinking? Are you partying till 3 in the morning still? Well, I definitely have some drinks on the weekend, and then during the week, I'll have a glass of wine or I'll have a beer when I get home. So I am drinking, not a whole lot, but usually every single night I have a drink. And I'm like, okay, well, there's another strike against you. But again, don't even worry about the diet. Focus on this. How much sugar are you having? Oh, my thing is chocolate. During the week, I'll bring a chocolate home for lunch, and then I'll get home and I'll kind of stress eat a little bit after work. My thing are bonbons or Hershey Kisses or whatever they are. So before we even touch their diet, look at all these strikes. Because they're not getting water, they're drinking alcohol, they're not getting any sleep, they're drinking too much sugar. I go, how much are you moving a day? Are you hitting around 10,000 steps or a little bit shy of it? Well, no, maybe 3,000, 4,000. I know I need to move more. There's another strike against you. Are you getting enough protein? Are you having protein with all your major meals to help fuel your muscles and keep your muscles nice and strong so that way you don't load up on processed crap? Sometimes, if I remember, if I do this, if it works out in my favor, so that's six. Six things that are going against them. And their first thing is, well, give me the diet that's going to make everything fixed. Give me the diet that's going to cure everything. That's not the way you want to look at it. You want to go, what are the things that I need to do day in, day out? And if you're doing those six things, and then all of a sudden you're like, this ain't working. I don't know why it wouldn't. But if you're like, I'm not drinking alcohol, I'm not eating sugar, I'm getting protein with every single meal, I'm getting 10,000 steps a day, I'm getting all the water in, and I'm getting more than 6 hours of sleep a night. I think I got all those covered. And I'm still not losing weight. Then we can go, okay, let's look at your diet. Let's look at the big picture. What are some things we can change? Maybe you're eating too many carbs. Maybe you're doing this. But people are so quick to raid their fridge, throw out all the crap, reinvent the wheel, do this. No sugar, no carbs, blah, blah, blah. All protein, no fat. And they're missing the big picture. The simple stuff that you should just be doing day in, day out that's going to yield the greatest returns. It's going to be 10 times easier for you to do those six things that I explained than try to one day wake up and go, shit, the scale isn't where I want it. I got to undo this and undo this and undo this. I'm starving myself today. How long do you think you're going to be able to do that for? A day? Maybe. A week? Maybe. But what can you probably do every single day? You can probably make sure you get at least half your body weight in ounces of water. I know by 8 o'clock, I have to have 3 of these down. Not that difficult. I do one, got to make sure I have one by about 10 o'clock, the other one by about 2:30, and the other one I try to have before 8 so I don't pee all night. Could you do that for your water? Probably. That's not that crazy. Could you make sure you just get to bed on time and get at least 6 hours of sleep? Probably. Could you go for a little walk outside every single day? Make sure you get 10,000 steps. Yep. Whenever you eat, could you make sure that there's protein incorporated with whatever you're eating? It could be a protein shake if you can't get in like a physical, actual protein. Could you wake up and whip up some eggs instead of cereal? Sure, I could probably do that. Could you avoid alcohol or at least cut it out Monday through Friday? And on Saturday, if you want to have 2 beers or a couple of glasses of wine, is that doable for you? Sure. Could you avoid sugar as much as you possibly can? It's in almost everything that we eat now. But could you pretty much cut it out of your diet unless it's a birthday party or a wedding or a special occasion or you're going out for a date night? Yep. That's not all that crazy. That's not all that insane. That's not all that, oh my God, I got to weigh everything and do all this stuff. That's pretty darn simple stuff that when you compound it over and over and over, you didn't have to eliminate all your sugar. You didn't have to eliminate all your drinks. You didn't have to eliminate all your carbohydrates. Didn't have to do any of that. All you had to do was the simple stuff that you probably let go over days and days and days and months and months and months and years and years and years. So if you're looking for now, going, oh my God, it's going to be warm out in the next month, month and a half. Get all this crap. I got to stop eating sugar. No more of this. Pedal to the metal. Give me the strictest diet. You don't need us. I've probably said this on here before. You don't need us to tell you you can starve yourself and lose weight. You don't need anybody to tell you that, hey, if you just eat chicken and only celery every single day of your life until the cows come home, you'll lose weight. Easy. But what is the adherence to that program? What is the long term to that program? Probably pretty, after 2 weeks, you're going to be ready to kill somebody because you're just absolutely miserable. It's all about balance. Like I said, it's all about that gray area. It's not 2 feet in or 2 feet out. I'm winning or I'm losing. It's about I'm doing healthy habits. I'm doing healthy things day in, day out. I'm making good food choices day in, day out. I'm fueling my body the way that it needs. I'm resting and recovering the way that it needs. If you're just going, again, full throttle and then all the way back, full throttle, your body's doing the same thing. It's back here, chilling, gaining some weight. Oh my God, what the hell is going on? I'm all of a sudden, I'm not starving. Okay, we got to a place where we liked. I guess I'm done now. Okay, now we're resting. Okay, lean forward again. Your body hates it. You hate it. So in terms of food, think of it that way, guys. You're human beings. You're never going to be able to get rid of pizza for the rest of your life or a cupcake or whatever it is. So don't plan on it and don't try to make that your reality. But you got to be honest with yourself and you have to be realistic with yourself. That's my spiel. Now, as far as a segue, speaking of being healthy, go to core4supplements.com. And if you need protein, we got the best in the world. The other thing, I guess I can kind of lead off with this. People always ask about supplements. This is the time of year everybody, again, wants to shred down super duper quick. Protein, try to get in with every single meal that you eat, guys. I know it's tough because you usually have to cook it, but protein shakes, super duper easy. No, you can't have like 7 a day and just not cook. But if you have 1 or 2 protein shakes, ideally, I always recommend get one in after you work out so it goes right into your muscles. The whey protein digests really, really quick. So it goes right into those muscles to start repairing. It helps your recovery process, helps the soreness process so you're not super duper sore. And it helps actually build and strengthen those muscles. Another one, if you need one kind of in between meals, guys. One of the things I do, I don't have a shaker bottle here, but I'll fill up a shaker bottle with just some dry oats, put a scoop of protein powder in, whatever my favorite is, a little bit of water so it stays kind of thick, and then just shake the crap out of it. It kind of makes this like oatmeal, vanilla-y, chocolatey milkshake type of thing. You get some carbs, you get some protein. And then we used to have just a thing of peanut butter here at the gym. I would do that, and then I have my fats covered. Easy peasy. Not pretty, but you literally have everything that you need, all the macros covered in about 30 seconds to a minute. But if you think you can eat like crap and the supplements are going to save you, it ain't. So you got to make sure you're doing the rest of the stuff. The supplements are there to help expedite the process, to help get what you're not getting in through your diet. But you can't go like, I'm going to eat a hot and ready every day, but then I'm going to take the fat burner and I'm going to expect to see results. If you're doing the things you should, your results will come much, 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 much quicker from the supplements. But again, guys, they're there to supplement what you're not getting in through your diet. So that is my spiel on supplements. Now, as I got sidetracked, if you need supplements, core4supplements.com. For being a podcast listener, if you use the code WORD podcast at checkout, you'll save 10% off of everything, and you get free shipping if you spend over $100. So if you want to just get a month's worth or a couple months worth of stuff, save on shipping. If you know you're going to need it next month, then steal and swipe away as well. But that was it, guys. This is a big stretch coming up. The transition, today's technically the very, very first day of spring, which I know it doesn't look like it outside if you live where we live, but it'll be coming soon. It always does. We all of a sudden go from like 30s and 40s and then make a giant 20, 25 degree jump overnight, it seems here. So I don't want you guys going, crap, my shirt's too tight. I'm embarrassed. I don't feel confident. Okay, let's try to just get rid of this 20 as quickly as we can. And you do it for a couple weeks or a month, and then you gain 22 back. And meanwhile, you're not gaining any traction, right? Some of us for years have been stuck in this cycle where we're here and then 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 here. But we're never actually happy. We never actually get out of that kind of snowball, or that, I guess, cycle, we'll call it. Our goal is to take you from here, leave this back and forth yo-yoing thing, and get you to this different point over here. And the way you do that is, like I said, do the habits that yield the greatest return. Don't reinvent the wheel. It's not 2 feet in. It's not 2 feet out. It's how do you adjust and do this for life and years to come. So love you guys. Like always, share the podcast. All this intermittent fasting and food talk has got me hungry, so I'm going to go eat. And I'll see you all, or we will see you all back in here next week. Adios.